Welcome everybody to World of Tanks replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first replay is from the user Airborne. I've no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it looks like Airborne. And he is driving the Type 61 on a standard battle on the Hidden Village. Type 61 being a tier 9 medium tank for the Japanese. Haven't featured the Japanese tanks anywhere near as often as I probably should. They are great little machines when you get up near the top of the table, as you are about to see, thanks to this replay. And I think it's just because they're not as widely played as the three starting nations is the word I'm looking for. Finds another Type 61, plants one straight through him, takes no damage in return, so that is a good trade for Airborne. Like I said, obviously these don't get played as much as the Americans, the Russians, the Germans, or even things like the French or the British, but give them time and I'm sure they'll permeate through the games as often as they should. IS decides to go full ham over the top here on this Type 61. Type 61 keeping his turret and frontal armor towards the other Type 61, refusing to put front armor onto the IS for good reason, as the IS gets taken out no problem whatsoever. Luckily Airborne gets a shot through the side of his turret as he was traversing that to get a shot on the IS. Still not sure why the IS did what he did. Maybe he thought he had more support than he did. Airborne's able to take out the other Type 61. Only takes a little bit of damage in return. So definitely a good trade for him. Spots an IS-3 in the town. Only manages to take his tracks off there. Not getting any actual damage on him. Trying to find a shot. Can only see the very rear of the tracks there. Does have a speculative shot, but that one just missed. And I'm not surprised at all that it did. Going to be trying to look for another shot on this IS-3, but he seems difficult to hit. He's definitely got some kind of cover in the way. Everyone can't having a scan around to see if he can try and get the silhouette to pop up, but not really able to find anything there. The enemy team's pushing very heavily through the town now for some reason. You don't find teams doing that very often, and the ones that do tend to come a cropper. Gets a good hit onto the IS-3. And then he fades away into the fog of war. He was thinking about heading down the hill to take some cover there, but a Pershing comes into view. Gets a great shot on him as well. Using the house now as cover. Just staying on the ridge there. Trying to pick off anybody he can coming through the town. Gets a good shot on the Super Pershing and then just drops back as he doesn't want to take too much damage in return. Looks like the Super Pershing has fired now. He's got a long-ish reload, especially for being a tier 9 medium at 8.5 seconds. It's nowhere near as good as something like, say, the T-54. It has a very quick reload in comparison to 8.5 seconds. Gets a beautiful shot on the T-54. Just a shame it didn't do any damage. That was pretty much blind as the T-54 was coming out of cover. Just trying to back up to try and get a shot through the rear, which indeed he does, and takes out his track again. And like I said, the other shot was very nice because the T-54 was in cover, so pretty much unseen. And he had to guess where the gap in the terrain was and fire his shot just then. Finds an E-75, but the E-75's armor is incredibly difficult to penetrate, so he wasn't able to get any damage on him. Just trying to get out the Super Pershing's way here. Still got a Rheinmetall camp to the right-hand side, so got to play this one carefully, although the Allies winning substantially right now at 6 kills to 2. Thanks to the enemy pushing a large number of forces through the town for some reason and getting ripped apart for doing so. Finds the Rheinmetall now on the right-hand side. Who is he looking towards? Not looking towards Airborne, which is going to be his undoing as he takes a nice bit of damage. And he just backs off behind the house. Has a shot there, but that one just about missed. Going to see if he could maybe approach him. Super Pershing looks like he's trying to go toe-to-toe with the E-75 there. Gets a critical hit on the Rheinmetall, but the Rheinmetall rushed his shot there and missed that one. Everyone going to come in and close him down. Just having a quick look to the right to make sure nobody's waiting there. Going to plant one in his side armor. Looks like he is all safe for now. Can see the Rheinmetall's gun shield. Looks like the Rheinmetall's gun's actually pointed up in the air. I'm not sure if he had the gun depression there. Probably did, but it looked like he might not have. Everyone rushed his shot because he didn't want to take any damage in return. Although he rushed his shot again and still took damage from the Rheinmetall. So I think it's going to have to be a case of bite the bullet and go take this guy out. Normally a medium tank could easily out-reload a Rheinmetall, but after the amount of time that it took to take his shot, with an 8.5 second reload, the Rheinmetall's almost certainly going to be reloaded, so decided not to charge, going to allow the Rheinmetall to come to him. Takes a shot from the right-hand side from someone, so he's got to get rid of the Rheinmetall quickly, which indeed he does, and he reverses and puts a house between himself and the T-29 and T-34 up on the ridge there. Rest of the Allied team closing in, although the enemy have done a fantastic job of evening up the score a little bit at 10 kills to 8 now. The guys on the left-hand flank have overwhelmed the Allies and pushed all the way through there for the victory. Airborne going to drop back now. Going to speed this one up a little bit until we get back into some shooting. As Airborne's going to flank all the way around behind the enemy team. Well, not behind now because they've pushed all the way up here. So he's going to be taking them on from the front. Can see a Conqueror there. Conqueror unleashes his shot towards the town, so Airborne going to use this opportunity to try and close him down. Not sure if he's going to be fast enough. Indeed he is. Gets a great shot on the Conqueror, takes out his track as well. Conqueror fires again, so Airborne should be safe enough to head around the corner. Looks like the ISU 152 has taken him out. Tiger 2 on the left hand side. Going to have to check which direction he's looking in, because you don't want to get shot in the face by that Tiger 2. I'm just going to try and get a hit on him as he backs off. Rushes his shot again. Plants that one into the dirt. But he doesn't really want to take any damage in return. He's only got 515 hit points left. And doesn't really want to lose any of those hit points in an unnecessary trade. So just being a little bit quick with the trigger here. Trying to flank around the side of this Tiger 2, which is a good maneuver. Going to see if he can catch him off guard. Looks like the Tiger 2 had the same idea though, and he is attempting to flank around as well. Being a lot more careful with his shot there. Looked like he was trying to put it through the road wheel at the front to go into the hull, but didn't quite have an advantageous shot, so just didn't pull the trigger. A lot of discipline shown on that shot. Now just going to wait out the Tiger 2, see if he's going to poke himself out and make a mistake. Could have the Tiger 2 poke himself out side scraping though, as the Tiger 2 is an excellent machine to side scrape with. Nope, looks like he's returned to his old position. Airborne gets a great shot through the side of his turret now, and this Tiger 2 is backing off again. Gonna wait till his reload is almost complete. Poke his head out, gets another good shot straight through the upper plate there of the Tiger 2. Tiger 2 rushed his shot. Everyone's almost certainly going to have the reload on him. Does he have the alpha damage to be able to take him out? He does when he sets him on fire. And that's kill number 3. 5,500 points of damage. ISU 152 climbing the hill now. Looks like he's going to try and go toe-to-toe with this T-28. Unfortunately, T-28 still on full hit points. Everyone going to try and get a hit on him. Gets a great shot through his frontal armor for another 393 points of damage. And the rest of the Allied team flanking around the rear of the enemy, trying to catch this T-34 and T-29. Everyone doesn't really want to go toe-to-toe with the T-28. Got to leave the ISU 152 to deal with him, and he's going to flank around the side. Might decide to come up around about G7, up that little road there, and then that will allow him to get around behind the T-28 and the T-34 and T-29. At the same time. But we're going to see what decision he decides to make as he approaches the enemy team. And indeed decides to head towards the road, although the T-29 has fallen back. Maybe he was having the same idea, that he wants to come and try and flank around the enemy. T-29 is going to be nowhere near a match for a Type 61, although with everyone only having 500 hit points. Takes a hit in return, but it only takes his track out. Doesn't want to take anything for granted and uses his repair kit to fix up that track. He's got more than enough of a reload to be able to take the T-29, but decides to play it safe and back out of there. Wondering if the T-34 is going to have advanced. thanks to the fact that both of the tank destroyers backed off from dueling with him. So Ever, the flanker here, going to come around the side of this T-34, gets a great shot through his turret. T-34 decides to just go charging in, does get some damage onto Airborne, but it's not enough to take him out. He's got the reload, should now just be able to advance, get a shot through his front plate. He can indeed, takes him out. Kill number 4, almost 7,000 points of damage, and this just leaves that lonesome T-28 all on his own. Almost certainly he's going to be heading back, but as you can see, the AT-15, the SU-101, both on low-ish hit points. You saw Airborne have a little stop there, as he was thinking about maybe going for the base capture, but decides that he's got enough cannon fodder in front of him that he should be able to get around the side of the T-28. He asks them to wait so that all three of them can assault at exactly the same time. AT-15 takes a shot through the face, and then I think he decides that that might indeed be a good idea. Airborne going to flank around the side of this T-28. I'm going to allow the tank destroyers to get his attention from the front, although it looks like most of, well, not most of them, the SU-101 has decided that he wants to go for a base capture rather than take on this T-28. AT-15 still hanging around, which is good because he's taken the attention of the T-28. T-28 gets shot through the front plate. That is the final bit of damage required to take him out, pick up the victory, and to add insult to injury, the T-28's shot bounced harmlessly against his hull. So absolutely awesome replay there from Airborne, driving the Type 61, showing his skill. A little bit slow in places, but playing a very, very well thought out, calculated and methodical game, flanking and surprising the enemy from the sides and the rear whenever possible. So showing some great map understanding and showing great understanding of the flow of the battle. So awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget to stick around because, as always, there is another game coming right up. And our second replay is from the user Corner Gold. That is Corner Gold, and he's driving the Bat.Chat 25-ton on a standard battle on Erlenberg. Bat.Chat being a tier 10 medium tank for the French. You know this tank, it's got the 5-shell autoloader, fantastic penetration, decent alpha damage, great speed, agility and maneuverability, terrible armor and terrible hit point pool, but this thing can be an absolute death machine when you get it in the right position. So straight away you can see Corner Gold heading to the 1 line, trying to keep himself out of fire, the line of fire from the enemy Bat.Chat, while he himself gets into position without being spotted, which indeed it looks like he's done now. He's up on the hill, going to allow his gun time to focus in. Looks like he was trying to get a shot in the STB-1, but he's just playing a little bit too cautiously. Now he moves up. Unfortunately, just about fades away there. That shot probably landed and probably did some damage, but we won't know for sure until we have a look at the score screen at the end. He's keeping himself focused on the hill here. A T-54's decided to come all the way forward here, a little bit too far. He gets taken out, but it looks like he may have led an IS-7 to his death as well. Corner Gold showing a lot of discipline here to not just fire upon anybody. Looking at this E75, but I think he knows that his gun isn't quite accurate enough to pick out the underbelly of that E75 with every shot. So again, showing great discipline here not to just unload those last 4 shells. Just waiting now. That E75's advanced forward. He may be able to make a move, and looks at the sidearm, although he spots a T-57 heavy. Does know that he can penetrate the turret on that thing, so looses off a couple of shots. Unfortunately, that one didn't quite go through. He's got one more shell. That one unfortunately missed. And that was a decent trade. Did nearly 800 points of damage to the T-57 Heavy, taking no damage in return. You can see the enemy team is pushing very, very heavily on this left-hand side, and almost nobody's died. Only the Bat.Chat and the T-54 for the enemy, and the Lorraine 40-ton for the Allies, and now that T-54 as well have died. So it's all even though the enemy team is being super aggressive, and you would expect them either to just get totally stomped or to overrun the Allies' emplacements. Unfortunately, none of that has happened. You can see the Bat.Chat's got quite a punishing reload at almost 40 seconds here, Was looking towards this T-57, but it looks like he's able to get himself into cover in time. Allies have now dealt with most of the tanks that were down on that road. There's still this E-75 here, and he's going to prove to be a little bit of a tricky one to remove. Having a look again towards this STB-1. He just pokes his head out every now and then, realizes that he gets spotted, and then just heads straight back behind the hill. So Corner Gold not able to really get any damage onto him at all. Looks like the Jagdpanther 2 just beside Corner Gold has been taken out now. Has one shot at this T-57. His second one does go through. Can he land a third and a fourth? Having a quick look towards that STB-1 because he really wants to get him out of the game because he's being very annoying up on that hill. He's basically forcing Corner Gold to remain here. One more shot would have been enough to take out that T-57 Heavy. He manages to get it with the last shell in the clip there. Takes him out for his first kill now of the match. STB-1 still in the background there, as is now a T-110E4. Mouse gets himself taken out by the E4. T-57 Heavy complains about the Bat.Chat's cloaking device, but let's be honest, he was quite a distance away and behind a lot of foliage. Game is still dead, even at 6 kills to 6, but with this flank all but won now, Corner Gold going to advance forward. Finds a T-34, so going to plant some shots through his side arm. He's got more than enough damage in the clip to be able to take this T-34 out in one go, which indeed he does. He has one shell left. Going to try and find somebody to donate this shell to. Probably going to be the STB-1. Although the STB-1 has fallen now, still looking for somebody else. With a 38-second reload, you really want to try and fire and do damage with every shell before you start that reload. Sees the T-110E4, gets a great shot on him as he backs off, and then he decides to back off while he waits for that canister to reload. And as you can see, he's only got 2 kills, but he's got pretty much 4,000 points of damage. So having a fantastic game so far. Just waiting in the wings now while that cannon of his reloads. And like I said, it's got a pretty long punishing reload here. Finds the Waffenträger E100, but he's still got a few seconds left on the clock. So not going to be able to attack him just yet. And there we go. E100 is focusing on somebody else, firing off a few shots from his clip. So hopefully Corner Gold can get along beside him. He's going to be going for the T-57 Heavy here. And this Waffenträger is absolutely stomping the Allies right now. Doesn't land one shot. And it looks like the E100's just gone full ham. And he's going to get himself taken out. And that was a mistake on his part, going so heavily for that T-57 Heavy. Not realizing that the Bat.Chat of Corner Gold is flanked around behind him. He has got one shell left in the container, which will be enough to take out the T-110E4, but just deciding to drop back and reload instead. As you can see, the Allies are getting pushed very heavily on that right-hand side, so as well as the battle is going on this left-hand flank, it's going just as well for the enemy team on the right-hand flank. You can see the score still all even at 11 kills to 11. The only tank they've got over there is that Jagdpanzer E100. Corner Gold leaving the Foch 155 to deal with the T-110E4, because let's face it, last time we saw him he only had 51 hit points left. Corner Gold instead going to be heading across towards that KV-4. Has reloaded his cannon, although he has been spotted out here. Finds an FV. Going to try and get a shot on him. Didn't wait for his gun to focus all the way in, so one of those unfortunately missed. Looks like he may take some damage in return, but to be honest, it's the first damage he's taken in the game, so he can definitely afford to take it. He's able to get a full 1,544 hit points onto that FV-215B. Reloading his shell container here. I don't think he's noticed that he's only got one shell left of the APCR ammunition. He's going to have to switch up to the heat rounds if he wants to be able to do any damage whatsoever. Although, to be honest, he may just be loading this one APCR in order to take out the KV-4 and then load a full canister of heat. But to be honest, I think he probably just hasn't noticed that he's got one shell left. Advancing slowly forward towards his KV-4. He should easily have enough alpha damage to take him out. Although I speak too soon, he is already dead. His gun is reloaded. He now knows for a fact that he's only got one shell left, whether he knew before or not. Jagdpanzer E100 is in trouble against this FV. Not faring particularly well. Bat.Chat's got one hit to land. He lands his one hit, takes a shot in the rear by that IS-8, and he starts the reload now. Doesn't want to use his advanced repair kit just for a damaged track, so just waits that one out. Knows that he's got the reload speed on the IS-8. The IS-8's not going to be able to get a second shot before his track's repaired. T110E4 is now pushing down the left-hand side. The Foch 155 dropped back onto the hill, so he should be able to take out the T110E4 at his leisure. Corner Gold going to be hunting down on the IS-8. Looks like we haven't spotted him entirely at all. But there he is, just to the right-hand side, and he's still on full hit points, although 1,700 hit points, that may be stock for him. And Corner Gold has got a full clip of heat rounds to donate to him to steal some of his hit points. To be honest, it doesn't really matter where he fires at this IS-8. This IS-8 is in trouble. Takes out his track. Oh, it looks like he decides to repair it after taking 2 shots. He did fire once, but missed and planted that one straight in the building, taking hits from the other side of the map now. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's still driving. Does he realise that he's driving straight into the water? I'm not sure whether that was on purpose or not, considering that he was looking at Corner Gold as he did it. Corner Gold saying not today, and he dives in after, but he just lands in the water himself before he was able to pull the trigger. So obviously, you can't fire your weapon while underwater, but he's able to get out in time, and that is GG and the victory. Pretty much 9,000 points of damage and 3 kills. So awesome replay there from Corner Gold. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, then please send that into replay@screenreality.com. The link for that is in the description. Just attach the replay file itself or the link to the What Replay website to the email, and I can check that one out for you. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, you found it useful, informative, you learned something, or you just enjoyed it, think about hitting that subscribe button, because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on this channel. I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks Replays, and I'll catch you guys next time.